Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Depends on where you are in the world. This is a much earlier live stream from me today, just because I have a few minutes before I have to lead a prayer session. But I wanted to jump on in and share this while it was on my mind. And I might go live again later. But while you're here, please do hit that share button. Go ahead and hit that share button. Invite someone to join us. We're going to talk just for a few moments about how to be his muse and more. I'm going to define what that even looks like. We're going to share a couple of scriptures, and then we're going to go ahead and get on with it. I also am going to talk more about what to do if your man gets fired. So remember, when it comes to me, we're only talk about men in leadership and men in power. So like leaders in the church, leaders in politics, CEOs, like higher tier, C-suite managers, directors, those caliber of men are the men that I always am referring to. Okay, so we're not referring to any type of man. And if that's not your cup of tea, then of course, go ahead and switch this off, because it is not for everyone. I want to be crystal clear on that. It is not for everyone, that we're using or that we're talking about today, or in general. It is not for everyone. What I share isn't for every woman. What I share isn't about every man. It is about a specific type of man. And I always want to be clear about that, because sometimes people ask me questions, or they will get into my inbox or have concerns about my content. But nevertheless, we're going to go on with this. So today we're talking about how to be his muse and more. And also, if any gentlemen are watching or watch this video in the replay, please do send me a message and let me know feedback. Let me know if what I'm saying makes sense, and any conversations or anything you want to add to this conversation as well. So today, once again, we're talking about moving, how to be his muse and more. And so a muse, what is a muse? So first of all, it is about understanding that it is just a great word that I like to use, which is it is the idea of being someone who's inspirational. When you think about different designers and different artists throughout history, they would talk about a woman in particular that would inspire a woman that would inspire their work or make them be better. And it would inspire a whole line of fashion, or it will inspire some of the most beautiful creations in art, so that we understand what that looks like. All right. And so that's why I want to talk about that today. What it means to be the kind of woman who is inspirational, and who is absolutely lights up, gives him that fire, that inspiration. And again, I want to say that this is only for men who already are doing something. We're not talking about bums. We're not talking about lazy men. We're not talking about being an inspiration for your deadbeat man. Like this is not that. You cannot change a man. I will always say that 1000%. You cannot change a man, but what you can do is the man that is worthy. Okay, because as I said in the beginning, not every man and not every woman. So again, abuse is a woman who awakens vision. You awaken desire and pursuit in a man. So you inspire and not chase. Very clear here. You inspire him and not chase. So even sometimes a man who doesn't do those things for other women, he may do them for you because of how you show up. But once again, we're not changing a man, but it's about being that inspiration and being that kind of woman. That's why we're always talking about networking. That's why we talk about leveling up your own life, like wearing things for you because you know you look good. When you know you look good, when I was getting dressed this morning, I was like, this is one of my favorite cardigans that I love to wear, this red cardigan. And because I don't believe in doing my hair for special occasions, my hair's always done. I will always concentrate on having good skin. I took my vitamins, my supplements this morning with my coffee. I've got my cup of green tea right here that I'm going to be drinking today, and I'm taking care of what I eat, etc. I prayed, I meditated. I also did an audio for the Rich Wife Vault. So if you're a Rich Wife Vault, we're in a 30-day experience right now where we're talking about being soft, spoiled, and sacred. And every day I drop in there like a post of instructions, and then I also drop an audio. So you get a private podcast, and when you join it, you get access. I think there's like 60 audios already in there. So you can go in there and really kind of listen. Lots of video content as well to become the woman of your own dreams. So, as I said, when you are the muse, it is the one that when you are wise muse, that's how you can marry that man. Okay. And the question is, are you just inspiring him, or are you also preparing him to cover you? And how you show up in the early stages, even on the first conversation, I will never forget that when I met somebody in person that I knew online, and nothing even romantic, it was really a business connection. And when we met in person, he was just like, oh my gosh, you are exactly how you show up online. And I think authenticity is really important. And till this day, he will still send me stuff and be like, hey, what do you think about this? Because we inspire, right? We learn to inspire the men in our lives to show up even more in their purpose. All right. And so the second thing I want to say is where women get stuck is too many of us stop at just being a muse. We stop at just being admired, desired, and pursued, but not secured. And you need to decide what is it that you want. I was watching Sierra. She was at an event that I really wanted to go to. She was at an event in Atlanta, I think it was, and she was sharing about what, when people always ask her, what did she pray in order to attract Russell, etc. And people always ask her, like, what did she do? How did she do it? What did she pray? They always say, what's the prayer? But honestly, you've got to understand that it's not just the prayer, it's how you show up. And one of the things she said was having clarity. And then having clarity on those prayers, and then standing by those prayers every single day and not moving on them. So if he only sees you as inspiration and not alignment, then you're going to remain temporary. I'm going to say that one more time. If he only sees you as inspiration and not alignment, you will remain temporary. If you want to be for a good time and not a long time, then by all means, just be admired, just be desired, just be pursued, but never secured. And so once again, if he only sees you as inspiration and not alignment, you're going to remain temporary. And if you want to be a temporary girl, then probably my content is not for you. But if you're trying to be the one who is secured and the one who is covered, the one who is protected, who is provided for, then continue to listen. And here's the revelation about being his muse and more. All right. So the wife muse integration. The secret is to embody both, right? So number one, as a muse, you want to be able to ignite his vision. You want to stir his pursuit, and you want to keep mystery alive. So you always, there's parts of you that are yet to uncover. What is that Maya Angelou quote that says, I think it's Maya Angelou, where it says that a woman must be so hidden. Whoever said it, a woman needs to be so hidden in God that a man has to pursue God to find her. So there are layers that you're peeling back. Even the Bible talks about this idea of not being overly, not gossiping, not oversharing. Keep the mystery alive. And then from muse to wife, it's about embodying stability, softness, honor, and legacy. Can he trust you with his vision? Can he trust you with his future? Can he trust you that if he gets fired from his position, all of a sudden, or something changes, all of a sudden, can he trust you to still hold the stability? Can he still trust you to hold your softness and not be overly concerned? And again, this goes back to the type of man. So remember, at the top of this live stream, and you can go ahead and watch the replay, it will be available on my YouTube channel. You've got to get to a place where you realize that my energy is expensive and I need to be clear on what it is that I want. So remember, I said that when Sierra answered some questions at a panel, I think last month, that's one of the things she said. It was about having clarity and sticking to that. When you stick to it and you don't get discouraged, stick to it and don't get discouraged. However, if the results that you desire are not happening, then there might be a few things that you need to tweak. So you are, listen to this, the muse he dreams of and the wife he can't live without. Two things. The muse he dreams of and the wife he can't live without. So in the Bible, one of the things that, let me give you a couple of historical and biblical muses and how we can see how this kind of like plays out in real life, right? So Esther, she was the king's muse. He was captivated by her beauty and mystery. Remember, Esther only spent one night with him for him to say that this is the one I'm choosing. And then not just that, later on, it wasn't just another wife to add to his harem. It actually became that she was one who was able to change the course of history for her entire people. That wasn't just a pretty face. That wasn't just a sexy body. That was her being the muse and stepping into divine alignment because she positioned herself as a wife who saved a nation. I don't know if you understand how powerful that is, that you can be both beautiful and a baddie. When I say a baddie, I mean a baddie in the spirit. You can be both pretty and powerful. You can be both sexy and sacred. They're not mutually exclusive. And then in history, there are women like Cleopatra, Pamela Harriman, who magnetized power, but it was their strategy and presence that made them indispensable. And this doesn't always have anything to do with looks. Sometimes it's not about how you look. Sometimes you can inspire him by your energy, the way you show up, the way you make him feel. And again, I'm going to keep dropping my little disclaimer. This is not for everyone. This is for a specific type of man, a quality of man, a quality of leader, the kind of man that you can trust to be the father of your children. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about anything. And here are a few things that I'm going to close out with in this session today, is that you have to carry an air of mystery. If you're writing notes, I need you to write this down. Carry an air of mystery. He should always want to discover more. He should always want to know more about, what do you think? What are you doing? So when a guy's like, hey, what are you up to? There's a way that you can respond that also invites further conversation. I mean, I know sometimes we don't even want to put the work in, and I get it. But that's why you only engage with those who are engaging. Yeah, we're not desperate out here. We're not just engaging with any and anything. We're enjoying life, and we are genuinely happy with our lives. So carry an air of mystery. So he always wants to discover more about you. The next thing is to inspire him with your softness and your own vision for your life. So when he's asking you what your goals are and like, hey, it's the last part of the year. It's the last quarter of the year. What are your plans before Christmas? Like, share your vision with him. Not all of it. Again, remember, we do not share everything. We do not overshare, overtalk, and give out you don't need to give out everything about you. And you can even tell different things to different men. Hello. You can share one thing with this guy and another thing with this guy. And then that keeps your conversations a little bit spicy, more interesting as well. Because remember, we keep going until we find the best man. Until the best man finds us, we keep going. So this is not even about sex or anything like that. This is nothing inappropriate. This is you engaging in conversations, getting to know people, vetting them before you meet, and then inspiring him with your softness. But that softness comes from within. Your femininity, your feminine energy is not circumstantial. You're not feminine for the right man. You're not soft under provision, like under certain requirements, because you already have standards. You have standards for your life. That's why when you show up in person and they meet you or they see you on the phone, they're like, oh, wow, And you're like, oh, what is it? Because they've never seen a woman like you before. They've never encountered a godly woman who carries such feminine presence, is sacred, honors the Lord, and also knows how to be soft and sexy, who knows how to do those things, how to do all those things. And this is one thing I hate about purity culture, is that there is this belief in certain spheres of the church where they tell you to like squash your sexuality and don't do this, don't do that. And it's just like, a lot of times those women, when they get married, they have problems in the bedroom. Like, it is just statistical facts that there's a direct correlation there between issues in the bedroom and how we view our bodies and ourselves before marriage. And the next thing about that is when you radiate a presence that makes him want to rise. So you can be ambitious. Even ambitious is a masculine trait. There is a way that feminine ambition and strategy actually begins to make sense. And here's why. When you radiate a presence that makes him rise, the way that you show up makes him want to go after more. So when he sees you at your photo shoot, he sees you signing contracts. The other day, a few weeks ago, I announced that I am a pageant director for Miss Earth, and Miss Earth is one of the biggest pageants in the world. And I recently took the opportunity to become a pageant director. It's one of my dreams to be a pageant director. And so I'm running a couple of pageants, Miss Earth England. And I remember someone saying to me at the time when it first came out, actually I told him before, and he was just like, oh wow, that's amazing. I love how you're able to like go after your dreams, like regardless of how different it looks, and it doesn't change who you are. And he was just like, did he call me back or text me back? Then he texted me back to say that, oh, how I showed up has inspired him, blah, 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 blah. And so without even realizing it, because you're intentional with you, they'll be intentional with you. And then transitioning to being a wife is to honor his leadership. Honor his leadership. And again, let me go with my disclaimer. This is why we only deal with men who are already leaders. Specifically to the women that are watching this, men who are already leaders, men who are already building something, men who have already built something and they're on their like third or fourth thing. And then you create safety in your softness for him to show up and for him to increase maybe in certain things that you desire. And then the final thing is to embody legacy-minded alignment. So divine alignment, when you are divinely aligned with your own personal life, then you will automatically only, a man who is legacy-minded and sees the future, he's going to look at you and see your wife. He's going to look at you and assume that you're married. All the time. I get this every single day. A new person will follow me or find me, or they will see me on their friend's page or whatever, and they'll be like, oh, she must be taken or she must be married. And I'm just like, no, I am a wife, but I'm not currently married to anybody. And so in closing today, because I've got to go and lead prayer in like 4 minutes, I'm crystal clear on what it looks like. And this is why I don't just teach women how to inspire men. I teach you how to embody the identity that makes you unforgettable. Because they meet pretty women all the time. They see sexy women all the time. But it's not about that. You are you. And learning what makes you work, what makes you more irresistible, what brings you the life that you desire. Because it's not just about, people act like marriage is the epitome of success in your life. It isn't. For a woman, it's not. In this day and age, that is not the epitome of success. The epitome of success is whatever you desire and whatever your life looks like when you are divinely aligned. So yes, you can be successful without getting married. But it's going to be you will naturally attract an amazing man as a byproduct of the way that you show up if you follow the things that I'm sharing. And if you want me to show you how to stop being just for a moment and start being for a lifetime, then you need to join us in Rich Wife Vault. Because a muse captivates his imagination, but a wife carries his name. And when you're both, you'll be the woman he prays for and the woman he never forgets. This is super important. And this is why they always circle back. They will always circle back and be like, wow, that energy. And it's like, of course, right? But of course. And it's not even about being cocky, it's about awareness. And so if you're interested, join us in Rich Wife Vault. It is only $44 a month, and you get more teachings like this, access to all of my past trainings, and there's such good content in there. I'm also working on an AI as well that you're going to be able to have access to very, very soon. Because I believe in using technology in order to enhance your life. And so this is called, I'm deciding whether it should be called Rachel-Yvonne AI or whether it's going to be called Rich Wife AI. Either one, I'm going to go ahead and probably put a vote on my Instagram stories today and Facebook. And then you guys can vote and let me know which one you think I should call it. Should I call it Rachel-Yvonne AI or should I call it Rich Wife AI? Either way, both work. And so that being said, let's go ahead and end this live stream, and I will see you guys tomorrow or maybe later. Bye-bye now.